Okay. Um, Hi. So I'm doing something a little different today. Today I'm trying out recording on Zoom, and I'm also using the podcast mic that I use to record interviews. I'm interested to see how the audio turns out or if there's anything different. Um, Also, I'm hoping that by using Zoom, recording on Zoom, I won't be overloading my hard drive with memory from other videos. Yeah, I want to talk about hope. And I want to talk about hope because I feel that um, it is a very worthy and pertinent and relevant topic right now, especially in light of everything that's going on in this world. When I'm feeling hopeless, I have to sit and remind myself that if I am in any way, shape, or form making plans for the future, whether near or far, especially if they're good plans. Um, and If it's, especially if it's something I'm creating or bringing forth into the world that doesn't exist right now, um, counterintuitively, the fact that I am making plans for something in the future, something that may or may not excite me, but hopefully does, um, that counterintuitively means that I see myself in the future and therefore I have hope that I will be there. Some level of hope that I will make it long enough into the future to be there. Um, yeah, it's just like a very heavy time right now, I think, for a lot of people. I think what gives me hope is, mm, I think what gives me hope is hearing stories. What gives me hope is doing research into my family, hearing stories from those who came before me, living older relatives as well. Um, I think also what gives me hope is seeing solidarity um, to varying degrees in the world, definitely in my community, but in society. There's this quote by Nina Simone that I talked about this on TikTok one time. Let me find it. Okay, finally found it. Okay, so Nina Simone has this quote that I really love, and it says, "What kept me sane was knowing that things would change, and it was a question of keeping myself together until they did." And I feel that that is exactly what I have been doing, and I feel like what I will have to cling on to um, for these coming years. I think that things will change. I have to believe it. I literally have no other choice but to believe it. I can't give myself any choice to think that this is it. Um, in part because when I think about the sheer number of people, of ancestors who had to survive just to get to me, for me to be here in this particular point in history and time, I feel that I don't think it's a mistake. I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think it's just I'm just here for no reason. I have to believe that things can change and will change. And I think that it things change by large and small actions and also by a change in mentality, a shifting of attention, um, shifting in how we see ourselves and how we see others. Um, I think that change comes when we recognize our interconnectedness. And yesterday I had a conversation with um, someone named Lisa, who I met on a recent trip to the UK. And I talked to her about, like, she's from Guadeloupe and she's, from France. And like, even she's having conversations with herself about what does it mean to be Black and Caribbean living in the UK. And I am thinking of what does it mean to be Black American living in the United States, but also part of that diaspora and part of the global majority. Um, and I've always prided myself, not prided myself, but I've always thought of myself as someone who is probably more aware of what's going on in the world than um, the average person. Um, but at the same time, I think about how I can do even better. How can I do differently? How can I divest? How can I um, just how? So those are things I'm thinking of. Um, and the fact that I'm even thinking about that and thinking about how to do differently in the future tells me that there is a level of hope that I have the time and the space to be able to do it because and that by doing it, it'll be valuable for some reason in the future. I mean, I know the reason, but um I'm sure there'll be other reasons why it's valuable, but that's that's a counterintuitive way of seeing hope for me in this time. I also think that in this time right now, in addition to cultivating as much hope as we can, I like to look for God winks. Um, my husband kind of chuckles whenever I call them God winks. I consider God winks to be like those little like weird synchronicities, like, oh, I was just thinking about that, and then this thing happens. So I am going to share my God wink today. Okay, so you guys know I have been making art. A few weeks ago, like a month ago, I went to the art supply store and I bought this like very expensive to me watercolor pad. And I almost didn't do it because I was like, it's expensive. I'm just a beginner. But I realized at some point, okay, it's $30. And I think that it's okay for if I'm gonna learn, then I should learn with the best stuff. And so I've been using watercolor pencils. Here's like something that I've been working on. Um, but even though I've been using watercolor pencils, I've been like, oh my gosh, I wish that I had like an actual palette that had like a full range of colors and things like that. Um, and I was like, don't got the funds for it right now, so I guess I'll just wait until I have the money for it. I went to a refugee center that I've been volunteering at for a while, and next door they have a thrift store. And I was going through looking at the books, and I happened to see this, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? Are these just watercolor pencils or what? And it's $1. Y'all, it's a like basically it's basically just been lightly used. It's still basically brand new. Like they're look at that, y'all. And I was like, oh my God, it's only $1. It feels like a God wink. I was just talking about this. And so I was like, thank you, thank you. So yeah, that's my Godwink story. And I suggest I recommend that you also have a look around, think about things that have seemingly out of middle of nowhere worked out. Um, also make like gratitude lists. I go through spurts where I will, when I'm feeling hopeless or when I'm feeling discouraged or down, I will go to my journal every morning because I journal like daily, basically. And I will write down a gratitude list. And the key is I write down a list of at least three things every day. But the key is that I can't write the same thing twice. It has to be something new each time. And usually when I think that I'm gonna run out and like surely I can't think of anything else, somehow, somehow there's something else that I get to add to the list. So that's what I've got for today. That's it. Hello. It's another Saturday. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you are very warm, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. I live in the Southern United States where it is typically warm and it is very much not warm. And I don't know how to handle it, besides staying inside at all times until it passes. Oh gosh, I don't know. Where do I start? This week went by really fast. I took care of a lot of the boring things getting started on compiling things for taxes because we all love that. I also started strategizing, mapping out a plan for more interviews to schedule for next month, like what, tomorrow, February into March. So that's exciting. I also, what else did I do? By the time you get this video, I will have recorded and edited and uploaded a video called something like 5 lessons I learned last year, so you don't have to. Maybe there will be a link here somewhere. Um, I this was not boring, but I shared an email for the Reclamation Notes, very much on the topic of the 5 lessons I learned last year. If you are not subscribed, I will include a link at the bottom. I think I usually include a link at the bottom. I think if not, then I probably should like do that going forward. Basically, Reclamation Notes is bi-weekly. So every second and fourth Monday, I send out a letter, an email, a newsletter. Less so a newsletter, more so just like a letter via email where I share a bit of inspiration. I also have in there the give and take, which is a section where people who are subscribed can submit requests for advice, resources, uh, feedback, things like that to help whatever you're building, and also where people can submit I guess like things that you can contribute. This is like a very poor explanation, but ways you can contribute, such as providing expertise, things like that, time, connection, whatever. Maybe that's what I'll do next week. Find a way to succinctly describe that in a way that doesn't sound awkward. So that is what Reclamation Notes is. It's basically a letter from me with a bit of inspiration, some, resources, things like that, lessons that I'm learning, wisdom I'm imparting, the give and take, and also, yeah, any links to content, things like that that a person may have missed from Reverb and Root. So I will include that link. All that said, the link is down in the description. What else did I do? I probably the biggest thing that I did this week was delete my social media. Round of applause. It has been I've been online. I've been on social media for say 15 years, probably longer than that if you're going to include MySpace, which I think I joined in like the 7th grade. Social media has been such a time drain for me. It has been a real source of comparison, of at times, especially recently, anxiety inducing and real overwhelm because I don't necessarily think that the human brain, or at least not my human brain, is meant to just take in so much information with like no filter. And so, yeah, I deleted Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok and Pinterest. I had like 17,000 pens that I gave myself 1 hour to save, download the pens that were the most impactful to me that I wanted to keep and remember. So I did a lot of screenshotting, things like that. But yeah, I gave myself 1 hour and then deleted it. So I am, I thought that I was going to be struggling. I thought I was going to be struggling. This is what, day 3? I think I deleted everything on like Tuesday or Wednesday. So this is day 3 or 4. And I thought that I for sure would be struggling or anxious or something because for me, it really had become like a real addiction. Like if I had downtime, I'm running to social media. If I'm anxious, I'm running to social media. If I feel uncomfortable feelings and I don't want to deal with them, I'm going to distract myself with social media. If I'm in a room with a bunch of people, like a new environment, and I don't know anyone, I'm going to go to social media so that I can create my own insulated bubble. And so I didn't want to live that way and decided to delete it. So the only social media that I have at this point is LinkedIn and YouTube, and I have very strict parameters around how I use it. So for YouTube, I upload videos. I use it for uploading videos like this, and I go to it if it's for something very specific, like I'm looking for a video on something like insert XYZ. I will not go on there just to scroll or to browse. No. For LinkedIn, I primarily kept it because it's a really great tool for networking. I also, it's like, career wise, it's really like a good space that has kept track of my work history, and I've got lots of connections on there. And I also post about Reverb and Root and share our mission and the things that, I'm working and sharing and all of that stuff. The parameter around LinkedIn, I do not scroll. I only use it if it's to message someone or connect with someone or to post. I do not use it in any way, any circumstance to scroll. So the home feed, we don't engage. Yeah. And so far it's been really working well. I have had to figure out how to fill my time, which has not been that difficult. I have basically just use it to make art or write or do more strategy work. What I've found to be probably like the best thing so far is that because I'm not inundated with information and other people's opinions and all the things, I can hear myself better. That was like my main goal is like, I want to be able to hear myself better. I want to be able to tap into my own intuition much clearer. Um, and also tap into my creativity and to be able to engage with the real physical world, which I think might have been like, I talked about this briefly, probably not briefly, like at length in like maybe the second video of this series, about really wanting to engage with the physical world. And as someone who has tried several times for the last 15 years to limit my use, whether that means using the screen time feature to do like a 1 hour limit, or deleting them off of my phone, but inevitably coming back. I just am not someone at least when it comes to social media, who can just limit. So yeah, I just said, let's go cold turkey, F it, and just straight up deleted. Yeah, so I thought that I'd be really anxious. So far, I don't feel anxious. I did have a bit of a freak out moment, especially when it came to TikTok, because I had like 8,000 saved videos, which is insane. Especially when I think about like how many minutes and hours that combines to that I've used of my life to watch said videos. So I did freak out a bit when I deleted like TikTok and Pinterest and wondered if I had made the wrong decision. Was I being dramatic? But I don't think so. I don't think so. And I actually anticipate that as time goes on, that I'll feel probably even better. My guess is that when we get to like days 7 to like 14, that's probably going to be a tough stretch because right now it feels kind of like novel to not have social media. I'm thinking that when we get into that stretch where the novelty of it has worn off, it's going to get interesting. I might actually like start feeling some discomfort, but it's gone now. I mean, yeah, there's no turning back at this point. I can't go back to my TikTok and reclaim my 1,400 followers and my 8,000 videos that I saved. With Pinterest, the pins are gone. I think maybe they had like I think maybe there was like a 7 day kind of grace period, but I'm just gonna let it lapse. I'm this year, I told myself that I wanted to really lean into removing distractions, leaning into flow and surrender, while also keeping and creating a structure for myself so that I can create an environment where I can build successfully, uh, both in my personal life and professional life, and where I can hear myself really clearly. We live in a world where we are inundated with information, and if you are not very intentional you will not be able to hear yourself, and you will not be able to distinguish who if what's whose voice is yours and also whose voice is other people's. Um, so yeah, those were the biggest things from this week. I don't really have an idea of what's in store for next week. I think I'm going to spend some time today sitting and thinking and mapping some things out. Um, I have to be really careful with myself because I have this tendency to go into overdrive and try to control every single thing, including outcomes. And I really do like suck the fun out of stuff if I'm not careful. And then feel disappointed when the thing is not fun and I feel burned out and things did not work out how I planned them to do, even though it's like nearly impossible, actually, probably impossible to plan and anticipate every foreseen and unforeseen variable. So, yeah, I hope you have a good weekend.